Alright. I get it. There's a lot more to this game than I thought. Okay. I understand. It's all been made clear. The curtain has been lifted. I was blind, but now I can see. But anyways, okay, back to where we were. Last time we proved that 3 objects were moved between the 2 embassies, not 2. And we presented the photo about another person being there, but I can't remember the details, so let's just go ahead and go right back into it. I'm sure it'll all come back. Rushing back. Agent Lang, I'm sure you're familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo, like I said before. Humans can't... What? Of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I won't allow you to take back what you said either. I'll say it again. It's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. Sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. Or you can just ask me a question right when I get back into an episode that I don't remember the details for. Face hidden with this photo's blurry, trailed shadow is... What is it? I don't know. Oh, statue. Oh, but which one? It's probably the Babals one.
Take that!
Oh no! Oh no! I thought I said that you'd better have a good explanation. I can't make heads or tails of what you're trying to say with that. Let me try the other statue then. Okay, shut up. Shut up, Lang. Lang, shut up. You two, Edgeworth, shut up. Both of you, shut up. I need the room. The man-shaped shadow that flew there, beep, 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 beep. Oh my god. I want to tell you if you just give me the chance.
Take that!
Yes, there it is. Naturally, the shadow is the 3rd smuggled object, the Prima statue replica. You can't be serious. The Yanagarasu, or rather, Callisto Yu, dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Ha! Mr. Prosecutor! You left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know. She launched it through the air. Ha! And how exactly did she do the... He's literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right? You know what? You know what it probably is? I bet it involves the wire, the chopsticks, and the plants. I bet that's what it is. I bet it went through the air, via the wires, hung across the 2 offices. I bet that's what it is. So just before the murder, Franziska was called here right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh, what are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called her for her. And for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Ha! Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you! As I've said numerous times, there's absolutely no proof that I'm the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too! I don't. But I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. Franziska, I feel that I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl, "No!" As you wish. Movements in Alabast. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office, oh dear, was before the murder occurred, is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Franziska about her testimony in more detail. As I said earlier, assigned to guard duty.
Hold it!
I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring. Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Yatagarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened here back then? Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself. It looks like you remember the case after all. Of course I do. I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police's security detail. I did all that, then after that, after I saw the steel samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office.
Hold it!
So you're at the theater as well? Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show? Well, yes. So Franziska was there. Well, after the show was over and I saw the steel samurai off, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation.
Hold it!
Why'd you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech? For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yatagarasu had planned on getting in, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. And in the end, the Yatagarasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden. Even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Calm down now. She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself. Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden, and we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office.
Hold it!
At that time, Damas II's body had yet to be found in this room, is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. All right then. Add that statement to your testimony and let's hear some details. So, Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? Watering his plants. Right. When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill.
Hold it!
For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side. However, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, his body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Isn't that not correct? Isn't that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them by himself and is growing them with the utmost care, you know? The plants in this room, they're all like my children. The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full bloom. Miss Von Karma, what did you just fucking say? There are only 2. I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony. Very well. I don't even need to press this one. I can just present right now. Where is it? There it is.
Objection!
Boom. Franziska, for some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way. Ha! I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your words, sis. Mr. E! What are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this? Yeah, sir! If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir. All I've done is state what I saw. I have made not a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? Oh my yes. At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Then let's hear it, Mr. P. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine the flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with the utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand. It's not gonna matter when you're in prison, guy. Alba. I know you did it, Alba. I know it was you. I won't rest until yes. Right there. This patch of soil looks as though it has had something removed from it. What are you doing, Mr. P? Why'd you clam up all of a sudden? I'm still here waiting for an explanation, you know. Did you know, Agent Lang, flowers are best appreciated in silence? Looks like 2 things were pulled out of this flower box. Okay. Alright, I get it. What about this watering can here? This watering can has a rather robust design. Mr. Edgeworth, why are you telling us stuff we can clearly see for ourselves? Plus, if you keep wasting time talking about that, Miss Von Karma's gonna get arrested. I better examine something else. The name of these flowers, I believe they're called passionflowers. Despite being called flowers, they're actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realize, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Miles Edgeworth! Hurry up and shut this man up for me already. I suppose I'll need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? Oh, I will, because we have it. 2 sticks, in fact, with dirt on the ends. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. You do you? You have such confidence in the face of your current plight. But I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth. is here! Here! Where is it? There!
Take that!
Sheena, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the Passionflowers. And so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Ay-ya! Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Olivast, but somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue. Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal. How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. Aha! So that's why! Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. It's just another stick, isn't it? And so it is, but the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks. The crossbow? The crossbow?
Eureka!
Yes! That's a crossbow! Wait, you're not really suggesting. I am. These hair sticks, or rather plant support sticks, they make for perfect arrows. I've done it! I found the common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all these things together. Well, yes, by thread you mean wire.
Not so fast!
Mr. P, hold up a second. You do realize what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. So Babal's statue was draped in the Yaligarasu's clothes and then shot over here. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell you that the prima duck statues didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? The prima duck statues didn't sprout wings. Of course they didn't. Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The prima duck statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. So Babal's statue was draped in the Yadigarasu's clothes then shot over here.
Hold it!
But that incredible scene just happened to have been caught on film, resulting in this photo. Ha! And what an incredible scene it was. This photo was taken by a freelance photojournalist, right? Yes, so I hear. And not every photojournalist is known to be honest, right? Especially not the ones that sell photos of spirits and giant creatures to tabloids. Yes, I know what you mean. I've seen those sorts of photos many a time in court. But there have been times when those photos have been turned out to be telling the truth. Can you remind me what other photos Lotta Hart sent besides the one that looks like the Loch Ness monster in the river that was the samurai thing? What other photo? Because she's been in a couple cases, but I don't remember what other photos she presented. Maybe she was just a witness, I don't know. If you had ever stood in a court of law, you would know that it's entirely plausible. You really believe the stuff you're spewing right now. A courtroom certainly is a strange place if what you say is true. But there really is something odd about that photo, no matter how you look at it. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with a statue tied to them.
Hold it!
But we are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct? But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. P? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing. No, that's not necessarily true. Wait! What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions, it's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. We know it's the wire, I just need to know where I can present it. It wasn't a statue. There it is, this is it, this is the time. Alright, where is it? Wire, go.
Objection!
Boom. And with that, I think it's a good time to end this video here. It's been like 21 minutes. So stay tuned for the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye!